Hello and welcome to another episode of Atomic Vinyl Reviews. And I'm actually, sorry about the lighting, it's a little dark out, but I'm on the way to the cinema to go see MEG. So this is the latest in a long line of Hollywood shark movies, and yeah, I'm actually pretty excited to go see it. It's about, the megalodon, the giant shark. And since the last kaiju film I went to see, which was Rampage, The Age of Ramps, was so good, I'm kind of hoping this one might be close, because that one was a really fun movie, and by the looks of this one's trailer, it's looking to be a fun movie too. So fingers crossed. By the time you see me next, I would have left the cinema and seen the film basically, or maybe I'll do some shots of the actual inside of the cinema while I'm there. But yeah, I'm kind of worried that the lighting in this video will be a bit weird, because I am doing an experimental video where I'm filming it while walking back from the cinema there and back, so fingers crossed that it works out, and I hope you enjoy this style of film and that the quality is not too bad, because it is on my phone and my phone's not very good at recording in certain lights like this one, so we'll see. Anyway, I'll cut away and I'll get to the cinema and I'll let you guys know what I think of the film afterwards. Alright guys, so I am back. I'm heading back home. I just finished watching the movie. So where to begin? Overall, I'd say this film is just, definitely just one of those fun, silly sort of type films. Was it as fun as, say, something like, what was it, Rampage? No, definitely not as fun as that one, but definitely pretty interesting, I guess. So, what did I like about it? It had, the effects were pretty good, and the shark was, I liked the shark. Every time the shark showed up, it was awesome. This is one of those movies where you definitely root for the shark more than the people, which I'll get to the characters soon, because that's kind of where my main issue with this film comes in. And when I say characters, it's mainly just the main character. Is one of those, they're really trying to pass this guy up as, like, the action movie protagonist person, the one who, gets everything done and is the only competent person in the film. And, they did sort of the same thing with, like, doing that sort of stuff with, Rampage and stuff like that, but The Rock could carry the film. He had that natural charisma, and the writing worked and the acting worked, and his relationship with, like, George in that film was really good. So in this film we've got this weird sort of bald guy with, like, this sort of, like, bony face, big, like, a very low caveman eyebrow, and, like, these tiny creepy beady eyes, and, like, just this really put on sort of persona that I found kind of annoying. So that really dragged the film down, because even if the characters were just passable, I could have had more fun with this film. But the main character, he really sort of, every time he went on screen, it just kind of made me cringe a bit. There was also this sort of forced relationship they tried to pull with him and a female lead of this film, where they tried to kind of have this attraction thing going with them, but it was very contrived and very put on and just kind of unnecessary. But another thing about this film, it was definitely one of those joint Chinese production films. I mean, it was actually set in the China, near China in the ocean, so that was pretty interesting. So it wasn't set in America for once, as all films seem to be. It was definitely one of those films that was trying to pander to China, I think, because it was, first it was set there were a lot of Chinese actors in it, which is very good. I'm very supportive of diversity in films, but still, you had the main, like, lead pushing him to be, like, the white guy, which I really did not like him in this film, again. And, they even had subtitles for everything in Chinese under the in the movie, like in the, like, weird computer screens and stuff like that. But I did like the supporting cast. When they had their little moments, I found them enjoyable. In particular, one guy who was playing like this billionaire who, because the film sort of starts off, there's this incident where, actually, you know what, I'm going to keep this like roughly spoiler free, maybe not spoiler free, I'm just not going to get into this plot very much because I want to keep this video short. But there's like this research complex and like these group of people that's on there is the main group that's sort of this thing's going on, and basically they find this place in the ocean that's really deep, deeper than any other place they didn't know existed because it was hidden under something, which was just like this layer of fog, some coldness fog that they couldn't sense through till they went under and investigated it. And yeah, there's the guy who plays the billionaire who basically owns this facility, which is really well done. The sets in this facility were really cool. You know, this underwater sort of research lab. Really enjoyed the sets in that place. But the guy was played by I don't know the actor's name, but he played Fish in The Rocker. If you've seen that movie, and he's been I think he's in The Office. The American version, I think. I don't know, but I always enjoy him in films. He was also in one of James Gunn's early films where he played like a superhero. It was a really gory, sort of funny film. So he was really enjoyable. Again, a little underutilized, but very fun. And just most of the side casts are pretty good. The effects were pretty good. I mean, it was sort of standard. It's like this whole movie was essentially plot-wise like just a really B-movie-ish type of movie, and they played it pretty safe too, unfortunately. Which is sort of where it was let down, because like I said, I was rooting for the shark, but like I really, especially since I didn't like the main actor, I really was always like, come on, just eat him, please. He's so close, because they always trying to make it suspenseful, and no, it never happened. That's not a spoiler, trust me, it's just not. You know it's not gonna happen, but I wish it did. So that part of it, like the effects, they were pretty good for just, you know, it was all CGI and stuff like that, and you know, some of the sets were nice, but it was like a sort of standard ish quality for like CGI effects. Like most of it was pretty convincing, but still it has that like CGI-ish nature that even though there's nothing particularly bad about the effects, you can still know everything's CGI. But the shark was, like I said, the shark was cool. It was still just, it wasn't like some sort of weird monster shark. It was just a giant shark. But whenever it was on screen, it was really fun. So even though it wasn't nothing like special about the design to distinguish it really from any other shark, just its sort of size and furiosity, I'd say, is what made it pretty funny. This film had that sort of classic B-movie thing where the monster always goes after the little people, even though it, you know, it's this huge monster, and like why would it care about them? Although they do kind of play on that sometimes, and it like almost goes for them, but then goes for something bigger, so that was cool too. Oh yeah, so do I recommend seeing it? If you feel up for it. I mean, I feel like the enjoyment of this film really comes down to whether you enjoy the main character or not. And for me, I'd say perhaps if it was a little shorter and had less of the people element in it, just because they really focus on that element, and there's probably not enough of the shark in here, unfortunately, to warrant just seeing it for that. So I'd say, you know, view at your own risk, basically. Is there anything else I can, you know, say about this film in particular? I'd probably recommend this film if you are Chinese, because it actually does, it would be quite cool. I can, since my family is Polish, it's always sort of a delight when I hear a little Polish spoken in a film, kind of like that. Recently I've maybe not recently, maybe like almost a year ago now, there was some Polish spoken in a X-Men film by Magneto's character, and he kind of butchered the delivery, but it was still fun to see. So I can picture, you know, the Chinese audience, anybody who speaks Chinese, is Chinese, would really enjoy that sort of aspect of it. Just sort of, I feel, what some of the film was made for. But if you're just after like a casual movie fan, and after, you know, the movie monster aspect of it, I'd say probably, if you're on the fence, to pass on it. I was really hoping there would be more of the shark doing like destruction, like in where the people are, like big crowds of people, which happens, but they really could have pushed it to do more. It was very cut back, and I don't know why that is. Maybe it was like a budgetary reason to save on animation time or something. So I really don't feel that the destruction was pushed to be as cool as it could have been. So that was some really unfortunate thing, but you know, there was some funny moments here and there, so it could be worth a watch. There was definitely a really funny dog in this. Yeah, I will note that the scene with the dog was one of my favorite scenes in this whole film, and aside from that, every scene with the shark, and then the scenes with the guy from The Rocker, that other actor. And yeah, other than that, my final verdict is pretty much a summary of everything you've had me say, which is just like meh. I'd say I'm gonna give this film a meh for Meg. Which is actually funny because they do call it the Meg the whole time through the film. I think they just call it a megalodon once, and then they just refer to it as a Meg. It's really funny that they actually did that in the universe, because I thought the title was a bit corny. But oh well. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Oh, that was a limo. You don't see those every day. At least not here. Yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy this style of video, do let me know. I might do these in future if I go see a movie. If not, let me know too, because I'm probably better off if I do this in the day too. But yeah, so without further ado, thank you for watching. May all your vinyl be irradiated vinyl. Over and out.